and welcome to my channel. Today I will be doing a small fruit centerpiece. This is going to be a little floral arrangement. It is going to be a matching arrangement to the fruit wreath that I did for last Tuesday. I will put the link down below so that you can go ahead and look at that if you have not seen that. And I'm going to be using items that I have left over from that. I did go ahead and purchase some more fruit, so I'll just talk about that. Let me go ahead and show you. I've got this bag of fruit that I got from Hobby Lobby. This was a $12 bag of fruit, but I did get it with a 40% off coupon, so I got it for about $7. I also bought a cluster of grapes. This was only $3. And this is exactly the same fruit and the same grape cluster that I got for my wreath. From my wreath, I also have left over some ribbon. Right here, I'm using this really pretty kind of a green and blue kind of a plaid pattern. So I'll be using that. I also had purchased a packet of 3 little birds, and I had used one in an arrangement that I made for my front door with a birdhouse, and then I used it on my fruit wreath. So I have one left over, and I'm going to go ahead and incorporate him also into my fruit arrangement, my centerpiece. And also left over from last week, I have some flowers from bushes that I purchased. These were from Hobby Lobby. I don't recall the price, but I do have the prices mentioned in my fruit wreath. So if you look at that, you'll know what this cost. And as you can see, I had some leftover, so it is a great deal for that. I don't think I got these at Hobby Lobby now that I think about it. I got these at a store called At Home. And I just remembered these were $2.99. It was a bush, like about 7 of them or so. And this one as well was also from a bush. There was also $2.99. I don't know what I just said. Did I say $7.99? It's $2.99. And this is another one from leftover from also from a bush from a store called At Home, and it was $2.99. What I did get from Hobby Lobby was this greenery. This is also leftover from a bush that I used in the wreath from last week and the one from the previous week. So I still have a little bit left over that I can use in this. I've got this also this greenery that's got like a fern, and I've got quite a bit of pieces here left over. I may not even use all of these. Probably just use like maybe 3 or 4 of them. And again, I think these were from Hobby Lobby. I'm not really sure about that, but I do always get my greenery. If I do get it from Hobby Lobby or even from Michael's, I try to get it when they're 50% off, 50% off, or if I'm just going to buy one, I get it with a coupon if it's not on sale. But that's what I look for. I always look for my flowers and my greenery from bushes, because then I can cut them up and use them in other arrangements. Also, left over from last week's wreath are these little berry stems, and these were also from a bush, but this was from a Dollar Tree bush, so this was only $1. Of course, I didn't spend very much on my supplies once I share the products, so it's a cost-effective way of doing things is to share your supplies and spread it as much as you can. I'm going to be using some tools, so I'm going to go ahead and move the camera down so you can see what I'm going to do. I will let you know that I do need a container or a vase for this, so I'm going to go ahead and bring the camera down so that you can see what I'm going to be using. Alright, so I'm back with this arrangement that I have here on this table. This is something that I created for the spring. This is a round centerpiece, and I'm going to be recycling this. Just like last week, I took a wreath that I already had in my kitchen. I went ahead and I recycled that particular wreath to use with my fruit and my new flowers. I'm going to do the same thing with this particular arrangement. There's nothing wrong with this. Nothing's broken in this. But, you know, the flowers were for my spring, and I haven't done anything with this. So I decided that I'm going to go ahead and add the fruit for my summer. And it's going to kind of go into my fall with the yellow and the orange from the sunflower and those little flowers that, these little stems that I'm also adding into my arrangement. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the flowers from here and the greenery, and this can be stored away, and then I can use it for something else. So all I'm going to do is just start pulling everything out. I'll start with this one, and I did glue everything down, so I'm just going to have to do a little bit of extra pulling. If you're doing this for yourself at home, you don't have to use the glue gun, but I always tend to use it anyway, because I don't like things to, you know, fall out if I'm moving them around, and I do have a kitty cat that likes to play with things and pull things out, so I go ahead and I glue everything down. So in that regard, I will let you know the tools. I'm going to be using a glue gun with some glue sticks. I'm going to be using my wire cutters. I'm going to be using scissors, and I may be using my little pliers that I always tend to use when I do any arrangement. I'm going to need some floral wire, and this is about a 24 gauge. You can use a 24 gauge or a 22 gauge. And then I'm going to be using these little wooden skewer picks. These are used for florals and items such as that. And these are going to be what's going to go into my fruit so that I can put them into my styrofoam, and I'll show you how I do that. Last week when I did that, I used the sticks from the stem where I cut them off. I used these little pieces of the stem that I cut off to attach to my fruit and then attach to my wreath. But I only needed short little sticks, so it didn't matter that they weren't that long. So this time I went ahead and I pulled out my little wooden skewers, and I'm using that to make sure that I have enough length. Okay, so now that I've gotten these flowers out, which are really pretty, I can recycle them for something else. A different arrangement style. You're going to be seeing me do that a lot. I'm going to be recycling some things. It's much more cost effective for me. I can't always run and buy brand new flowers, so I'll be recycling a lot of the things that I have just so that you can see different things that can be done, different arrangements, etc. Okay, so now I've removed all this greenery, which can be actually used in this arrangement, but I've gone ahead and taken it out because I like to start fresh. Now, if you don't have a container that you are recycling, then just get yourself something that's a nice height off the table. This is about maybe 6 inches off the table. You could go a little bit higher, get like a little urn style, but make sure that it has a wide mouth, as this does, because we are adding fruit and we want it to look like it can hold fruit in it. So make sure you do that. So all you do is just grab some styrofoam and fit it in there. If you have to shave it off with a craft knife or just a regular kitchen knife. I bought this from the Dollar Tree. It cost me $1. It wasn't their kitchen items, but I use it for my crafts, and I use this to cut up my styrofoam to fit it inside any vase that I'm using. I just use some hot glue, stick it in there, and then I took some of this moss and covered up all of that, and that was that. All right. I have prepped containers in the past, so what I'll do is I'll go ahead and link the video for this centerpiece also in the description box below. So you'll have a link to my wreath, my fruit wreath, a link to my centerpiece, my spring centerpiece, and I'll also go ahead and link handmade bows, because I am going to add a bow to this. You do not have to add a bow. Usually bows are added just for seasonal differentiation in your arrangements at home, or because you're going to make it as a gift, or if it's a party or something like that. You don't really need to put a bow in it. I'm going to put it in there just for the sake of putting a bow in it, basically. And I'm going to use about 2 yards of ribbon to create a small bow. I'm going to make a little short tail this time. I'm not going to make a long one. This is about maybe 6 inches, and I'm just going to pinch and use about another 6 inches to make a loop, so it's 3 inches long this way. Pinch and twist, and again, you'll have the description to making bows, so I'm not going to be very descriptive with this one. I'm just going to make I think I'm just going to make 5 loops. I'm going to make 5 loops. Okay. And then I'm going to cut the other end about the length of this. So this is maybe 2 yards. It's probably about 1.5 yards really that I used to make this little bow. I still have plenty of ribbon left over for another one. So now I'm just going to cut a piece of wire to tie around my bow and wire that down. So now I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to take one of these skewers and I'm going to cut off about 6 inches. There we go. Put that over there. And I'm going to take the wire and wrap it around one of the ends of the stick. Can you see that? I probably have to bring the camera up closer even. Okay, so this is basically what I'm doing. I'm just going to move the loops into like a little fanned out little circle like that. I'm not poofing it yet. I'm just going to do that for now. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue right where the wire is so that doesn't move. We're going to let this rest a little bit and let that dry while I move the camera up closer so that you can see things a little bit better. All right, so now I've got my camera a little bit closer. I think you can see a little bit better. Let me show you this up close where I've wired the wire that was on the bow onto this little wooden stick, and then I added a little bit of glue just to make sure that it doesn't slide up and down on it. So now it's nice and stable on there. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna put it off to the side. These are my sides. So I'm gonna put my bow off to the side. You can put it right in front if you want. I'm gonna put it off to the side. There we go, just poke it in. And then we can just poof it up just a little bit so we can see what size our bow is. I always like to put my bow on first because then I know not to put anything there and then it'll get hidden by the bow if I don't put it first. Okay. Now what I want is a fruit right in the middle, and I want it kind of high because everything else is going to be lower right below it. So it's going to be about so high. And that is about maybe 5 inches off the styrofoam. Yep, it's about 5 inches way down here, but right off the lip of the arrangement, it is about maybe 3 inches high. So that's where I want it, and that's where I'm going to put my finger. I don't need that much to go into the apple. It's actually will go all the way through if I do that. So I'm going to trim some of this stick off. I just want enough of it to go into the apple. There we go. And what I do is I'm going to stick that right at the bottom. So in order to stick this little stick in there, I'm not just going to go ahead and jam it in there, but I'm going to use the tip or the nozzle of my hot glue gun to actually melt a hole into it because it is styrofoam. So I'm just melting a hole, and then I'm going to put hot glue in there. Not too much because you don't want it dripping out. Okay. And now I can go ahead and insert that stick into my fruit. There we go. You can see that right there. It almost looks like a candy apple. Okay, so now I can go ahead and put it into my arrangement. And I definitely don't want this popping out, so I want to make sure that I put it into some styrofoam where there wasn't already a hole from another stem. I want to make a nice fresh insertion into my styrofoam. So now I've got this high enough so I can put fruit around here. I'm going to go ahead and add my pretty little pear right here on the side. I'm going to do the same thing, and because my pear is now angled, I'm not going to put the stick directly on the bottom, but kind of off here on the side here, because that's where it's going to get inserted into my arrangement. So I'm going to take it, turn it over, melt the hole, get that in there. I'm going to be trimming this stick, but for now I'm going to go ahead and stick it into the little hole that I made. Right there, push it in just to make sure that fruit is being grabbed by the stick. And now I'm going to cut this at a good significant length because my styrofoam goes way into my, it's not level with the lip of my vase, but rather it goes down maybe about 2 inches or so in some spots. Okay, so now I'm just going to put some glue on the little stick and insert that in there. Push it in. There we go, so that it looks like it's resting inside of my container. There you go. You can see that right there. Now I'm going to put another large fruit on this side and then another one over here. So I'm going to create like a triangle going like that. Okay. I think I'm going to put this beautiful orange over on this side. I've got my stick here. I want this little navel part to show behind it, but not on the center bottom of my orange, but off to the side. Make the hole. Stick my skewer in there. Again, cut this stick. It's like a lollipop. Okay. More glue on here. Put that in there. You gotta move over the moss a little bit so that, and now I can push my apple down a little bit more. so you don't see too much of the, it's okay if you see little gaps, but not too much, because we are going to put some greenery and some flowers in there, and that'll hide everything. Okay, so now I'm going to put my apple on this back side over here, so that there I'm creating a triangle with a pear, the orange, and the apple. This green apple, because this red apple is just the center, so you can see that right there. Okay, again, because my apple is going to be a little bit of an angle, I'm going to put the skewer down here rather than straight up in the middle here. And I'm just going to use a little leftover piece here. Put that in there. Turn this around so you can see what I'm doing. Like, it's going to go right in there. There we go. Poof up my bow a little bit because I squished it. Okay. There we can see that we've got that fruit already in there. Now I've got 2 lemons and I've got a grape, or not a grape, but I've got some grapes. And I think I'm going to put the grape cluster right here also in the front. And I'll probably put my 2 lemons back here, maybe one right here. Or maybe I only need to use 1 lemon. Okay. I can save the other one for something else. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with my grapes like I did with my ribbon. I'm going to grab some wire. And my grapes have like a little loop. I don't know if you can see that. On the little stem right here, there's like a little loop right where my finger is, actually right there. I'm going to stick the wire through that. Twist it a couple of times. I'm going to take a piece of skewer. Again, I'm going to take about 5 inches. I'm not measuring anything, so, you know, 5, 6 inches. As long as it's able to insert into my styrofoam and it's not too long that it can't reach all the way to the bottom if I have to push it all the way to the bottom. So just try to cut them shorter than what the height of the arrangement. Okay, the vase or your container. Okay, so now I've got this on here and I've wired it to one of the ends of the stick, and I'm going to put some glue on that. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to let that rest a little bit and let that dry, because I am going to have to push into the stick and I don't want to get my fingers in that glue on the top edge there. So now I'm going to get another stick, and I think I want my lemon with this edge pointing upward than this instead of this. This is going to go back here where this apple is. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a little hole kind of just below the where the stem would have been. Right there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put some glue again. Oops, it's dripping. Some glue on that. And then insert that right in there. Okay? Let me show you what it's looking up close now. Okay, so now I've got that space here for my grapes. And if you will notice, I've got a bow on this side with little tails hanging off, and I've got some grapes on this side kind of dripping off. Or hanging off. There we go. So you can see that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put our flowers in. And I've got 3 sunflowers that I want to put in there. And let's see. This apple has some little bit of styrofoam dust, so let's put that a little closer to you. I think I'm going to put one right here, another one right here behind this bow, and then another one back here with between the lemon and the green apple. So this is going to go right here. I'm going to trim the stem just a little bit. I want it to be long enough because it's going to be hovering up here, but I also don't want it to be too long that it goes all the way into the styrofoam. I just want it to go in a little bit, so I'm putting a little bit of glue on the tip here, and I'm going to move this leaf over so I can get in there and slide it down. And I just want to just gently rest on the fruit. I don't want it to like be squished in between it. I just want it to rest on it. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. Okay, so now I want another one right over here behind this bow. Same thing, I'm going to trim off a little bit of the stem. It's just a little bit that I'm trimming, not much. Nothing worth saving, so those little bits I can throw them away. Right here behind the bow. And I'm just going to poof up my bow a little bit so I can remember how big that is, so I don't push my flower on it or behind it. Look at that. So here we are. I'm going to put another flower over here, so I'm creating again that triangle. All right, so that's basically how you're going to be working as you're placing your pieces into your arrangements. I actually don't need this extra greenery. I'll take that off. Maybe a little bit more also of this. And this is kind of basically the sunflowers are ending up kind of crowning that red apple. So let's go ahead and put that in this side here. Just carefully push it in right there. And as you can see, there's the lemon and the green apple, so it's kind of like in between them. And if you look at it from the top, you can see that it's a triangle. There we go. And they're all basically at about the same height. I feel like this one's sticking out just a little bit more. I'll push it in just a little bit. There we go. All right, so now I've got these beautiful orange pieces. Let me go ahead and get rid of some of this trash on my counter. I'm going to go ahead and save this lemon for something else. I don't need it in this arrangement. If I wanted to add more height, I could certainly put it in here somewhere, but I don't need it, so I'm going to put it off to the side, and I'll probably use it in a little basket with some other stuff. Okay, I'm just going to push one of the little bits of greenery up on this, and then the rest of it I'm just going to remove it. Just push up. And do the same for all of these stems. I don't think I'm going to use all of them. I'm going to go ahead and just do 3 for now. And we'll see about the other 2 pieces. There's only 2 pieces, so it's not a bad idea to use them all. And I kind of want these kind of just dangling out of my arrangement. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put some... I like to put all my flowers first and then add all my greenery. So I'm going to go ahead and add these first. And I'm also going to trim them kind of short but long enough to go into my container, and I want to put these kind of underneath the fruit. So I'm going to put one on this side, make sure it's actually going into the styrofoam. I'm going to push these leaves under the fruit. So I inserted that blue one right there. I'm going to put one on the other side as well where this apple is. Trim that. Add some more glue, right about right here. Oops, let me make sure it gets in the styrofoam. There we go. Tuck the leaves under the bow and under this apple. Let me turn it around so I can look at it. Yeah. Also making sure that I'm not crushing my bow. So that's why I put that little flower. Little blue cluster there, little blue cluster here. I've got 2 of these left over, so I think I'm going to put one on the front, what would be, you know, the front that you're looking at it, and one at the back, because I've got a little bit of an opening right here, and I've got one back here, also between the green apple and the lemon that I put back here. Basically, like underneath the sunflower that I had put there. So that's where I put that one right there. I'm going to put one right here on this side of the grapes. I'll get all these little bits ready so I can throw them away. There we go. And we have a little bit of blue from the vase here as well. It's not the same blue, obviously. It's just another blue, and as you can see, the ribbon has yet another blue, and then the bird has yet another blue. So I'm just adding blues, basically, here. There we go. I just want you to see where that one ended up right there. Turn it around so you can see the others. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to want to put these other flowers in and these little berries. I might not put too much of it. I think I want to put a little berry stem kind of popping out here next to this red apple so that I can put my little bird around here somewhere. And I think I'm going to want to rest my little bird maybe on the orange. So I'm going to put a little cluster, a small little cluster of berries. It's got a nice long enough stick here. Let's see. I think this one's got a longer stick. And I'm going to remove the little leaves because I don't need those. I don't like them actually. Anywhere where any of these little berries fell off of, I'm just going to cut off those little stems so we don't see these little bare stems, you know, sticking out of the whole thing, the whole cluster. So I just cut off some little bits off of it, and I'm going to stick it right in here, push it all the way in against the apple there. Push it all the way in. There we go. I've got a little cluster of berries right there at the top. I'm going to put one on the other side of the apple. Actually, I can do 3. So I'm going to follow that idea of the... I'm going to go ahead and trim these off, the little berries on the very bottom, because I want very minimal bits in there. Okay, but I need the stick to be long enough. So I'm going to take some of these berries that I cut off the bottom of the stem, and I'm going to glue them up here where it's missing some. So just some glue, and then just cover up those little empty spots. Let me trim off this little stem and just make a fuller cluster. There we go. I just wanted to make it a little bit fuller and cover little spots that were bare. So I'm going to put this on this other side of my arrangement, right behind this sunflower. And I'm kind of basically putting berries right where there is an existing sunflower, actually, because I did have these 3 stems. Got one more, and I'm going to take the leaves off like I did the other one. Put some glue on it. Okay, let's see. Push it in there. And then I've got more of these little bits from this other, which I'm going to glue. Because I see right here, I can see a little empty spot right there. Little tiny bit of glue. Cover that there. And that's what you can do with all these little bits from maybe one stem that's not so nice. Take some off from the bottom section, then move them and cover up at the top where you're actually going to be seeing things. I'm actually going to cover this over here because I have a little blank or empty spot where one berry came off. Okay, so there we go. Now I've got some berries at the top. This is getting nice and full. Let's go ahead. I'm going to save these for last. I think I am. So I'm going to get all this little trash out of the way. By the way, everyone, I've almost have my craft room ready. So I'm almost going to be... I am in it right now, but it's not decorated the way that I want it yet. So I'm not going to do a little tour yet, but I just wanted to let you know this is where I'm at. You saw the background behind me when I started the video. Okay, I'm going to put this greenery in the spots where it's open or bare. Okay, well this is not going in, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it because it's a little too long, and what's happening is because that part of the stem was a little bit wider than this part, it's not sharp enough to push into the styrofoam. It is just bending on me, so I'm going to trim that because the styrofoam is right here close to the edge. And now I can push this greenery into there, and then I'm just going to manipulate it and bend it downward just like that on my arrangement. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So let's see where the styrofoam is on this side. It's kind of high as well, so I'm going to trim it. All I'm doing is I'm poking my finger so I can feel where the styrofoam is, so that I know if the stem is long enough or if I have to make it longer. Okay, so now this side, I put in some greenery over here, bend that downward. That's nice. It doesn't have to have too much because it does have a little bit of greenery that was on these blue flowers here. These little, I don't know what they are, little clusters of something here. They have little leaves on them. So it does have some leaf on there. I put 2 on each side. They're not right where the handles of my arrangement are, but once they're kind of offset so that I can still grab onto the handles and set this down somewhere. See that? Okay, and I do like that. And I've got greenery here, and I'm wondering if I even have to use this one because I do have quite a bit of greenery. Let me go ahead and trim this long piece off of here. And see these bits? They're kind of big leaves. And if I put them in there, I feel like it's too much. So I'm going to just cut off one. I like this one better down here. I'm going to cut off 2 of these leaves off the stem. Push these out of the way because I believe I'm done with those. And I'm going to use this one because it's missing a leaf up here on this little bit. I'm going to cut that off. Or maybe it was supposed to be that way. I don't know. So anyway, I cut that off. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a curvature on it. And I think I'm going to insert it back here. Yeah. Kind of back here behind these little berries, behind these. So I'm just going to move them over, and it just barely touches the styrofoam. So let me get my hand in there and push it. There we go. And there we have that. Greenery sticking out the top of the arrangement just a little bit, and I'm going to put my little bird right there. So I'm going to take these 2 little leaves, and I have this ferns here, so now the opposites on the other side. I'm going to put a little grape leaf, and then on this other side I'm going to put one also opposite from this little fern. So if I lift it up like that, okay? So let me go ahead and put this one. And I'm just going to put quite a bit of glue on this because I know the stem is not long enough, but I know it'll catch on to the other stem that's in there, and then my grapes, like that. I just tucked that in there like that. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Get plenty of glue all the way around that stem so that I know that it catches on to something. On this side, under this apple. There we go. Let's get these little webs off of my arrangement. That's all I'm going to use as far as the greenery is. So you can see that I also, again, I have some left over for another arrangement. And I also have a lot of this one left over for another arrangement. So awesome. I'm going to use maybe 2 or 3 of these. And make a nice long stem here. Curve it a little bit so that it dangles outward. I'm going to stick one in here, and then one on the other side. And I think that'll be it. I think that's enough. There we go. Make sure it goes into the styrofoam. Make sure these are long enough to do that. A little bit less. Curve it so it dangles downward. And then this one is up here towards this back side, and it's dangling downward. So now this one's going to be kind of towards this side. So it's just opposite of that. Okay, so my camera stopped on me. It said, "That's enough, lady. You had enough minutes here recording." So anyway, what I did is I just ended up finishing and sticking that right in there. And now I'm going to put my little bird. And I've got 3 of these left over that I can use on another arrangement. I'm not going to use it on here because I feel like it looks really full, looks really nice, and I don't want to hide my fruit with all these beautiful greenery and such. So I'm just manipulating leaves to be under fruit, making sure they're not, you know, resting on top of them and hiding them. So that's all I'm doing, is just doing that. And now I said I was gonna glue my little bird right here on this orange. So I'm gonna put some glue under his little bottom there. Stick him right in there. There we go. On top of the orange. Look at him. He's so cute. Okay, there we go. Let's poof this up. And let's take a good look at our arrangement. All right, everyone, that is my small fruit centerpiece. It is a fruit and floral arrangement that you saw me do. And again, I will link down some videos down below so that you can see where I got these leftover pieces of greenery and where I made the first arrangement in this container and how to make bows. So let me know what you think. I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up. Make sure you give me a big old thumbs up. And leave a nice comment down below. Any suggestions on what you'd like to see me do next will be greatly appreciated. I am taking note of a lot of the things. I may not do them right away. I have to make sure that I can afford to go and purchase all the supplies. And I'm also waiting till they're at an appropriate time to create that video, and I'm posted for that. So just give me your suggestions, and I am writing them down if I don't already have it, if somebody didn't already give me that particular suggestion. And I still haven't done my live video. I do want to do one. I'm just trying to finish up my craft room because I've had people coming in, and they're coming in again on Wednesday to paint and put some flooring down in another room where because I switched rooms. I went from the back room to the front room. So this is where I am now. And then as soon as I have this room also fixed up, I want to do a little tour for you. So that's another video. I don't know if it's going to be a Tuesday craft video or if it's going to be an additional video that I add in during the week, but that's what I plan. So anyway, the live video I don't think will be part of any Tuesday or Friday video. It'll probably just be an extra video that I'll do. I want to test it out and see how that works, and maybe ever so often, not very often, maybe do a live video. We'll see how that works out. Okay, so subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and thank you to all my friends who have already subscribed. I love you very much, and make sure you share on your social medias. That would be greatly appreciated, and as always, enjoy.